Hi, my name's Peter. I like motorcycles and motorcycle camping. I bought this Himalayan 450 a few months ago. I just love this bike, even though there are a few things that I can do to improve it. And one of those is the lighting. So today I'm going to talk to you about how I've upgraded my lighting on the Himalayan 450. Stick around and I'll show you. The stock Himalayan headlight isn't bad and it does an adequate job. But what I found was that at night, and I live in a pretty rural area, so there's not a lot of street lights, and there's some very, very dark areas, and there are a lot of wildlife, deer and other things that might leap out at you. So having adequate lighting is important for safety, and not just at night, but when you're riding down the road and idiots don't notice you and almost pull out in front of you. So I added some lights. I added these Denali D2 lights. And it's not a bad job to do, but I want to talk to you a little bit about adding electrical things to bikes. When I first got back into motorcycling, that really intimidated me. So I've discovered a few tips and tricks, and I'm going to pass them on to you. On some more complex bikes, like the BMW, you have a CAN bus system, and then you have to be really careful. So the main thing you got to do to add on any electrical thing is you got to get to power. So that's one of the things I love about this bike, is that access to the battery is easy. But just sticking something on the battery means that you got to have to switch it on and off. So switchable power is a must. One of the ways to just put switchable power in really is you can just use a switch. I got this switch at revco.ca. And that's a really simple, cheap way to put switchable power on. But usually you want to switch it with your ignition. For example, my GPS comes on when I turn the bike on, turns off when I turn the bike off. And that's because I ran it through a relay. This is a relay system I bought through a company called Eastern Beaver in Japan. And it's a small company, maybe one guy, and he assembles these relays in different configurations. I bought another one for my Africa Twin, which had a switch that fit right into the Africa Twin. This one I had to wire into the bike. This is a generic version. This has a relay. You can't see it. It goes down in here, and it goes underneath the fuse box, and it attaches to any live switched power with a posi tap. And that's just a little system that connects a pin into the wire and can sense whether or not the current's on. So that gives me two circuits that are controlled by the ignition. I use one of those circuits for the auxiliary lights, and the other circuit is used for the GPS. And that just sits all right in there tight and doesn't take up much room. Now I do have the switch on the handlebars as well. And the reason I have that is because I think when I'm riding at night, it's a little bit bright for oncoming traffic. So I can switch it off. But I run it on during the daytime for conspicuity. And then at night, I can use it as switchable. So I'll show you the test ride I did and what a difference it makes. This is the last chance I have to take a look at my lights in the shade. Okay, so there's my lights. Oh yeah, see, I mean that's conspicuity, right? That you can see the difference between the lights, the auxiliary lights, and the headlight, for sure. Let's see what happens if I put on the high beam. So now it's more even. Right, but the bottom lights are still quite bright. Now, in the daytime, that's fine. But the reason that I installed this switch, I put this off and that off, at night, it'd be too much. I think it's too much at night. See, now, that's just enough to, that does the basic. That's without the high beam. So I'm pretty happy with that. On the BMW, I always ran them with the yellow, the amber, for conspicuity. But on this bike, I find that the actual headlight is not bright enough for my needs here in rural British Columbia. I don't ride a lot at night, but when I do, I want to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so here's the regular light on. Here's the high beam on. Regular light, high beam. You can see it goes further down the road. High beam is on. Can't see much going around the corner here. I don't know if you can even see that. You know, here's the regular light, regular headlight, high beam. Regular headlight, high beam. Doesn't make much difference to me. The high beam gets all the reflectors on the street, and it probably helps if there's animals in the ditch, which there are a lot of around here. High beam, Denali. High beam, Denali. Low beam, Denali. Low beam, Denali. My only problem is that I can't find the switch at night. I'm gonna see if I can find something that glows in the dark a little bit. Well, I'd say it makes a difference, but I don't think it's as great as I thought it was going to be. And these are the Denali D3s. Okay, so that's my light test. I hope that worked out. I've got the no ND filter on, which I hope is the best I can do for filming in the dark. That's my test of the auxiliary lighting. If that's useful for you, I hope you enjoyed that video. And soon I'll be upgrading my tires, so come back for that. Thanks for watching.